Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Welcome, everyone, to another awesome episode of Referrals Podcast. Once again, this is a special edition, short take. It is the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers, and we are on tip number 8. The downloads are through the roof. You guys are loving these. I'm loving these. The guests are loving these. I'm telling you, I think we've hit on something. We may have to do this again down the road. Thank you so much, everyone, for your feedback. A lot of you have joined GenGen at joingengen.com, which is our online Facebook group. We just went over the 7,000 member mark very, very quickly, from 6,000 to 7,000. So thank you all for joining GenGen and becoming a part of the generosity generation. We're making that the global's most powerful referral community, and we're having a lot of fun with that. So I have to tell you, I've got to give a quick shout out to Vicki Wooden, who signed up for RMS 21 recently. She said, hey, I was brand new to the mortgage industry when RMS 2020 came out. I was a business development manager with AmeriFirst, and I have a real estate background. So the summit was particularly interesting to me. And I will tell you, I am signed up for RMS 21, a year under my belt, ready to go. Vicki Wooden, I love it. Thank you. Big shout out. Thanks for signing up. Fairly new in the business, and yet, guess what? You're in the right place. Hopefully, you're not overwhelmed with the breakouts and all the content. I'm telling you, I've seen some of the back end of this, and for $97, you can go to rms21.com. That is a ridiculously incredible value for the content that is being put out by all these great speakers, myself, and some of the people that we've got involved with this. It is just off the charts. So if you care about your business, you'll go to rms21.com and sign up, because you will have a chance to work on your business, put your business plan together for your fourth quarter, and then put your business plan together for the entire next year. Imagine the next 15 months, you know exactly what to do every week to maximize your referrals. That's rms21.com. So make it happen today. Today, speaking of which, we have an awesome, very special guest with us today. We have a lady by the name of Catherine Burkhart. Catherine became a realtor after 30 years of helping people as a pharmacist. I'll let that sink in. Catherine lives in Middle Tennessee and works her real estate business in and around the southern part of Nashville and Middle Tennessee for your future referrals. She lives on a 12-acre farm with her husband, Charlie, daughter, Cassidy, and their numerous dogs, cats, and horses. Catherine is GenGen. She found 7L and the Generosity Generation at the beginning of the pandemic when we started doing the Daily Dose, and has embraced it fully. When I say fully, I mean she has participated in 30 Mornings, RMS 2020, Event Mastery, Sweet Dreams, 7L Book Club, March Magic, Summerfest, and is also a certified referral trainer. She is a CRT. We need to welcome to the Referrals Podcast, Catherine Burkhart.
Thank you, Michael. I'm so excited to be here. My first
I love
podcast.
it. I'm telling you, this is GenGen right here. That face right there. Somebody I'm taking a picture. All right, keep that face on. Keep that. This is GenGen, right? This is like, love what you do what you love. Catherine has discovered the love that she has for helping people in real estate. And we talked before the show today, and she was talking about, I love helping people without even selling them drugs, right? So you say it better. Right. What did you say on that?
I said, you got me tongue-tied now. I don't even remember what I said. I said, I love helping people, and this way I don't even have to sell them drugs.
There you go. Exactly. So she went from a pharmacist of 30 years, and now she is in real estate, and she is kicking butt in Tennessee and taking names. And in this case, like, she can help people people feel awesome, and they don't even have to take drugs to feel awesome. So the nice thing about it is she feels awesome, they feel awesome, and they refer her, obviously. So, I mean, let's get right to it. All right, tell me about your most recent referral.
So my most recent referral came from a past client. The client was a young lawyer that had been kind of stranded in Alabama from Washington, D.C. during the pandemic. And her parents now are my clients because of her referral.
Now, that's interesting. So, it was a past client that was in Alabama and they work out of DC. They were supposed to go back to DC, but it ended up that they worked remotely in Alabama. Is that right? I just want to make sure I get the story right.
Yeah, when the quarantines were lifted and they were all going to be working from home, she decided to move to Alabama to her parents' garage apartment so she could work from there.
From Tennessee?
No, from Washington, D.C.
So how is she a past client? So DC and Alabama, you're in Nashville, Tennessee. I got to get that right off the bat.
That's right. So while she was in Alabama, she became my client, and I helped her find now a house in Tennessee.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So I got you there. Now, but she was staying with her parents in Alabama, and it actually was the parents who became your client.
Just now.
Yeah.
She actually referred them to me.
Okay. So what was the strategy that you used, or how did that come about?
So I had met the mom. Actually, I met the dad too on a different occasion, but I'd met the mom at a couple of showings when she came with the daughter to look for houses in Tennessee. And they live, I'll kind of give a disclaimer, they live really close to the Tennessee line. Now she lives really close to the Alabama line. So it's, kind of a quick thing up and down. But anyway, she came, we talked a little bit. She kind of mentioned in passing, one day we may think about selling. The daughter said one time in another conversation, you really ought to look at my parents' house. They might look at selling sometime, blah, blah, blah. It kind of just went from there. The strategy kind of was after we closed on the daughter's house, I used what you call the F-bomb. And I
knew we were going to drop an F-bomb during this episode. I just knew it. I knew it was coming.
You know me.
Yeah.
But I just followed up with her. I never did ask during those conversations, if you're going to buy or sell.
That's right. Good
I just kept in touch, kept kind of keeping my face in front of her, that kind of thing. And I will admit the last few weeks I'd kind of dropped off. I'd gotten busy with some other things, and how things get put on the back burner and you just don't come to mind. And that's my fault for not having those follow-up scheduled all the time. But I got a Facebook message from her, and she reached out to me that time. So
the F-bomb, we're going to have to explain, the F word. I tell you, it's so funny. The F word in different environments is different. Yes. Right. So the F-bomb and the F word in real estate and business is follow-up. It's follow-up. So this is a follow-up bomb. And so what were the things that you used to follow up with the parents?
So I used a lot of texting and emails. I really like to do video text. I feel like that gets me more response from anybody, is throwing that video in there. Plus, nobody expects it. They see a text message from you and they're wondering what it is. And then my face is on there and they're really wondering what it is.
What's going on?
So, but I used a lot of those, plus a phone call here and there. But mostly just that. It was mostly long distance, nothing face to face.
Yeah. So basically you did the text follow-up, or the follow-up text, like straight out of 7L. One of the things that is a great strategy is after you have a phone call, or after you do a Zoom, after you do a one-on-one, after you see somebody at an event or at a housewarming party, you immediately right afterwards, you follow up with a text message. It doesn't necessarily have to be a video message. It can just be a straight message. In this case, Catherine used both. She used a follow-up text message. And the follow-up text message, what did you write when you followed up with the actual parents on this case, or the mom who came to the showings?
Well, the first one was just, the first day, it was just a quick text just saying, it was really nice to meet you. I'm so glad, we got to talk a little bit. Let me know if I can ever help you with anything. Basically just that. And
that's the answer.
Went from there.
It wasn't salesy. It was just relational, and that, I think that's but here's the thing, you sent the text, why is that so powerful? Why do you think it's so powerful that after the showings that you send this text message? What do you think makes the power of that?
Well, I think really it's when you look at what everybody else does, it just makes you stand apart.
Yeah.
It keeps them right on your mind, right on their minds, and it actually shows how much you kind of care about what they're interested in and doing.
Yeah. 100% on that is that you're thinking about them when you're not with them. Who does that? Somebody who's thoughtful, somebody who cares, a family member, a friend, not business people, right? Business people, it's just cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Whoever's in front of them gets the service and nobody else. Well, that's different with you. With you, it was like, hey, listen, I enjoyed meeting you today, and you weren't with her when you sent that text message. So as a recipient, you're like, oh man, that was very thoughtful to send that text message. Another thing that I love about the follow-up text is that when you meet someone, there is momentum in the relationship. There's momentum. You met them. Well, you can let the momentum die, which is what 99% of all people do. They just don't follow up at all. They don't send a text or anything. What you did instead is you put a little bit more gas on that fire, right? And so you put a little more gas on the fire, and this is kind of what the F-bomb does. But there's another key here, is that the power of first impressions. This was the first time you ever met the mom, yes, at the showing?
Yes.
Well, so the first impression's already good. You're likable, you're nice, you're helping her daughter. But you've taken that first impression to the next level of professionalism, which was the follow-up text message. So just in that nutshell, I hope people are getting from this hot referral tips. Listen, these aren't monumental, earth-shattering thoughts, but you know what? They're the little things that most people forget. And we need to make this a reminder that a follow-up text is a big, powerful tool, even though it may seem extremely small and it doesn't cost you a dime to implement. So what did you do after the follow-up text with the mother?
So I did see her a couple more times, but then probably, I guess, and I did plan it out pretty much a week at a time. So pretty much 7 to 8 weeks, I was trying to keep touching base, and they really weren't thinking of selling. They really weren't, it was just something they mentioned in passing.
Right.
Yeah. And so I followed up a couple times. Remember, and one especially I remember is the daughter and I were touching base even after the daughter closed on her house. And we both thought of the mom in that conversation. So then I reached out to the mom and, oh, we just thought of you. Your daughter and I were just talking and we thought of this, and you were the first thing we thought of, both of us. So just wanted to check in, see how you're doing, what's going on, that kind of thing.
This thought plus action. So one of the things that I cover at RMS are the 7 gifts of generosity. And Catherine, this is one of your gifts, is this thought plus action. We think of people, we think of doing things for people, we think of it, but we don't take the action. And what happens is nothing happens. But because you had the thought and then took the action, the kind of the do it now philosophy of taking action immediately, you got a new client. The mother became a client because whenever you thought of her, you took action on her behalf. You chimed her in when it was you and the daughter talking. When right after the time you met her, you thought of her, and then you followed up with the text message. And that's the power of this, is it doesn't take a ton of money, and it doesn't take any gifts to get your next client. All it needs is a little bit of thought and take some type of communicative action after you think of them, right?
And it's just a little action you have to take. It's not something huge. You don't have to go to dinner. You don't even have to ask them to call you. Just something. That's right.
And I have to tell you, if you come on too strong, then it can be repelling versus attractive.
Yeah.
You were it's just like, just little tidbits, little thoughtful, hey, listen, just thinking about you. It's amazing how much power that goes. So the showings came, the closing happened. How did you follow up with the mom and dad after the closing?
Well, we just kind of did that. And like I said, it's only been, I guess, let's see, we closed in June, so it hasn't even been that long.
Yeah.
I did tell them when we were still meeting and still looking that I was thinking about getting my Alabama license, that I hadn't yet, but I was looking into it. And I did research, to find out what to do. I bought the class I had to have and found out what all I need to do. So, like I said, for the last maybe 3 weeks, I didn't hear anything, or, I didn't follow up. I got busy. And one morning I got a Facebook message that just said, hey, check out this house. What do you think? And let us know. And it was the mom. And I was like,
okay.
I texted her back and said, well, it looks good. Are y'all thinking about moving? And she's like, yeah, what's your commission? And I was like, well, here it's this much, but the seller pays that when you're buying. And she said, oh, okay. And then she said, well, when can you show us this house? And I'm like, well, tomorrow, is that, you want to go, we can go today if you want to, but tomorrow is tomorrow good? And so we met there, and it was crazy, Michael. And I don't know, you may be going to ask me more of this, and I may jump the gun here, but we got there and she said, now you said your commission was this. And I was like, yeah, but you don't pay that. She said, oh, no, you're going to sell our house in Alabama too. And I'm like, she said, you got your license, didn't you? I'm like, I'm working on it.
I will have it by the time your house is listed.
Yes. That was basically it. So we are actually still in the process of looking for them a house in Tennessee.
Yeah.
They now want to be, even though they're only not very far from their daughter, they still want to be even closer.
Yeah.
So we're looking, and they are, we're looking at pricing their house now while I'm working on getting that license. So
yeah, I love it. I love everything about this, because it shows the power of the F-bomb. What is the F-bomb? It's a follow-up system where every week for maybe 7 or 8 weeks, maybe 9 weeks or 5 weeks, you are touching base in some form with a new contact. So it's new contact system, sign them up for the F-bomb. And then they drop into the F-bomb, which is 6 or 7, maybe 8 weeks. And then after the F-bomb, they should get into your communication plan, your all yap or your top yap. And that will keep the communication going forever, because your all yap and your top yap are forever. So, that's where, kind of your next step was to bring her into the all yap system. And now it sounds like she may be a part of the top yap too. For those of you that aren't super familiar with those, we go into detail. I mean, lots of detail at RMS, but it's also, the top yap is the yearly ambassador program to keep your referral sources for the top people, because they deserve more. And then you have the all yap, which is for everyone you know. And when I say everyone, I mean everyone. It's called the all yap. Yap is yearly appreciation plan in the all yap. So I love this. And she kind of got to you before she could get into your all yap system, So it was interesting that ended up a client and a referral, and may, may ended up you get licensed in Alabama, and all of a sudden you're serving two sides of the state line.
Yeah.
So what did this strategy cost you? Total. What did the
Zero.
F-bomb cost you? Yeah, the F-bomb cost you nothing, literally.
Cost me nothing.
And so what will you earn from this approximately?
Probably close to, I hate to guess, but $50,000-$60,000.
Yeah, when it's all said and done.
Commission.
Yep. So that's a pretty good return on your money. Yeah. Right? Like close to infinite. And can anyone implement this strategy? Do you believe anyone can implement the F-bomb?
Sure.
Yeah, right.
It's really
right?
easy.
So,
I actually, Michael, I will say maybe not everybody can.
Yeah.
Because not everybody is going to make that opportunity to talk to somebody. You have to be willing to talk to somebody and reach out on your own. You can't wait for it to come to you.
Oh, there's a good point. You got to be proactive with it versus reactive. So many people are reactive communicators. In this case, we want to be proactive. And the other thing too is you got to put it in your calendar to reach out every week. Yeah. And I tell you, I use that religiously. I literally just before this interview put on my schedule a follow-up for a couple of different people that we're working on, big things with. And it just, you got to put it in the calendar, and it keeps clicking on your calendar. It pops up and says, oh crap, I'm glad my technology reminded me, because I'm super busy and I would have forgotten that. So I love it. I hope people put this into play. It's as simple as this. You meet someone, you text a follow-up, you go to your calendar and you put a recurring event every week on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. It just says follow up with Betty, follow up with Cindy, follow up with Tom, whatever it is. It pops up and you're like, oh, okay. And you follow up with a text message or a Facebook message or a handwritten note, whatever you want to do. And guess what? You have literally built this momentum to the point where you are the referral, you are the trusted resource for that person, because you came on not super strong, but you came on like a 10-level professional would. Katherine, I love this. I love this. Any final words of wisdom or advice for someone who's wanting to implement this strategy and get more referrals?
I would say be consistent, but there's one thing that I really want people to understand is there wasn't one touch that I made in the follow-ups with her that ever asked if they wanted me to list their house, if they were wanting to sell or buy or anything. I never put that into that equation. Yeah,
you didn't have to, because you showed it with the daughter, and you showed it by your actions that you're a professional. You are a professional friend. You are a business friend. And there's nothing better, right, than being a trusted resource for people you care about. And you know what? You didn't even have to sell her any drugs.
That's right.
Right? So
and they
I love it.
Didn't even ask for any.
That's right. I'll tell you, let's go with dopamine as the drug of choice and have it self-implemented, right? So I love this, Katherine. I love you. I appreciate you. For those of you that don't know, Katherine is one of our featured speakers as well at RMS21. Go to rms21.com and register now. Use the code PODCAST, PODCAST, to get $400 off the regular early bird price, and make sure that happens. I'm telling you, you just go to one of these sessions and you're going to get your $97 worth of value out of it. It's an incredible deal. We're trying to get to everybody. That I know that people are flooding in right now, and we welcome you. We know brokerages, entire brokerages, have signed up for RMS 21. We welcome you, and we hope that that continues right through the next few days. Katherine, I just want to say thank you so much for contributing to this special edition of Referrals Podcast.
Thank you for having me here. I have loved it. I can't wait till the next one.
Me neither, and neither can the listeners and the viewers. Listen to this. This was number 8. We've got 2 more to go. We will see you tomorrow for the number 9 of the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. We'll see you tomorrow. Love you all. Have a great day.